I want to invite Eileen Lowry, who runs our blockchain labs. But I got a treat for you today. We have a real live network founder and trailblazer. So we have Joan Zerkovich from AAIS to talk about how IBM and AAIS have collaborated to create the Open Insurance Data Link Network, or openIDL for short. Ladies.
Thanks, Jerry. Thanks, Jerry. It gives me really great pleasure to have Joan on stage with me here to talk about the amazing work she and her organization are spearheading to transform the insurance industry using blockchain. Joan, for those not familiar with openIDL, what is it? What problem are you solving? How did you find blockchain and IBM?
Well, first, a little bit of a background about AAIS. We're an insurance company that doesn't sell insurance. We're a national advisory organization, and we serve as the bridge between carriers and regulators in sharing data, reporting on that data, and the development of new products for the market. So as we started to look at the changes in the insurance industry, we've been providing these services for over 80 years, and we're pretty sure they're going to have to change going forward. And we knew that we needed to engage with our larger stakeholder group to understand what we need to be doing in the future. So we contacted IBM and asked them about their design thinking service, and asked them to help us engage the carriers and the regulators and maybe new entrants into the insurance market, data providers, technology providers, to help us understand that a little bit better. We gained a lot of valuable insights from our design thinking sessions, but one thing that kept recurring over and over again is if we were going to expand the way we collect data, more detail, and make it available to a larger community. Our carriers were very concerned about security for their data. They needed to trust that when this data is available in this new environment, that they had insight to how it's being permissioned, how it's being used, and what the output is when there is an analysis against that data. So with that, the regulators then responded, yes, we want to have more visibility into the data, but we need to verify. We needed an audit trail as well that explains how you provided that data to the network and that you've met your regulatory reporting requirements. So trust, security, and auditability, that immutable record, recurred constantly in what a new solution might look like. So we again turned to IBM and their blockchain services group. We looked at the data management services that were available today, and we said they're just not quite meeting our needs. But the blockchain services group said, we think blockchain can solve this problem. So we worked with them to develop the openIDL, the first blockchain network serving the regulatory reporting environment. We engaged their services in May of 2018, and we had a working system for demonstration to the National Association of Insurance Commissioners on August 4th of 2018.
It's been a fantastic ride so far, but you mentioned data quite a few times, and it sounds like when an event occurs, like a hurricane, that the value of the network actually goes up. Can you talk about, how does the value of openIDL actually go up and increase with every event that occurs?
Hurricanes and other natural events are a really good way to look at how regulatory reporting can be improved. Today, data is collected on a quarterly basis. It's stale when it's in the regulatory reporting environment. Yep. With the openIDL, we can begin storing transactions to the network that give us a current picture of the policies that are in effect in an area that is looking at a hurricane with an imminent landfall. We have regulators that need to understand, with the total projected damage, how much insurance is available to restore this area. The carriers then can make this data available to the regulators to answer these questions. But instead of gathering up and transferring these large blocks of data over to the regulators where they have to do a lot of analysis, we can now run smart contracts against that data. It remains in the data store housed at the carrier's site, but only the answer is returned to the regulators. And if you take it to the next step, because we now have a network that includes new entrants into the market, we can include new members in our network, such as those companies that are developing, say, storm surge models or flood models. And now we can know for those risks that are insured, is the damage going to be due to wind, which they may have insurance coverage for, or water, which may not be covered? This gives a whole new insight to the damage and the ability to recover for both the regulators and the carriers.
Great. AAIS has been an early adopter of our IBM blockchain platform. Tell us about your plans to actually scale this network.
Well, scaling has been really important to us from day one. As a national advisory organization, we support all of the carriers that are in the market, from the smallest regional carriers to the largest multinational carriers. So we need a solution that enables all of these carriers to participate right away at a cost that they can afford. So we have a three-pronged strategy for doing this. First, we're going to have a multi-tenant solution that AAIS, in the same model that we've always operated under for the insurance industry, we're going to support the sharing of data through this multi-tenant environment. So our smallest carriers can join right away and provide that data. Second, we have a standard configuration. We call it openIDL in a box. And any carrier can pick up this configuration and implement it in the cloud provider of their choice. And then our third prong is being committed to open standards, open hyperledger technologies, and an open architecture that is completely transparent to the carriers that are developing their longer-term strategies for blockchain networks. They're going to participate in many networks, and we want them to leverage what we're doing across all those networks.
Fantastic. Joan, you truly embody being one of our trailblazers. Thank you so much.